Welcome to the lounge. Besties, it's your girl, MayaFiasco. This is the lounge. It's our first ever couch and cocktails. This is my guy, Cord. You cool with your last name? We'll just go with Cord. Cool. Fuck all that.
Yeah.
We're going to run all the Cord socials across the bottom so you can connect across all the platforms. But house rules, you know what it is. You know how we do. Everything's off, or nothing's off limits. Nothing is taboo. Tags make it pop like that ass was too. So do the ring-a-ding-ding and we're going to get into some things. All right. So this is my friend Cord. This is our first episode of Couch and Cocktails. Yeah. I wanted to do this because everybody and their mama got a podcast. Mm-hmm. You've been on several of them now. We'll link all of Cord's pods below as well. And you'll get a chance to hear him across the board. Now you get a chance to see Cord. Hello, he's pretty fine as well. Something to look at. So we're going to put his ass on camera. But I find you so interesting. And I say this all the time in our friendship because Cord is from Memphis, born and bred. He is a solid, real nigga through and through. And your experience is a lot different from my experience, your Courtney's experience. Like, you have remained intact in your blackness in a way that, like, we've been conditioned with white people a lot. Mm-hmm. Growing up in Nashville and being multicultural and the way that we went to school and stuff like that, whereas you didn't have any of those experiences. So a lot of the times when we're in situations or we're out and about, we may be like, man, white people be tripping. And Cord be legitimately like, no, they're trying it. And I think that's, like, bold. Like, niggas really be, like, a lot of people like to cap on internet, like, you know, you're going to do X, Y, and Z, somebody say something. A lot of folks don't. Cord will.
I will.
Cord,
I have.
like, Cord will. So I couldn't hesitate to have a real nigga conversation and highlight some instances, give y'all a chance to really meet Cord and dig into this intersection of black experience. Mm-hmm. Sound cool?
Yeah, cool. Cord, as she said. And yeah, I consider myself different.
Always.
But I'm always going to remain true to myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in a white space now and I'm still learning every day how to navigate professional and staying true to myself, not hiding who I am. So,
right.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really interesting because we're going to talk about 3 topics I think you might have caught some of that as we opened up. Mm-hmm. But right out the gate, we're going to make a drink because if you've never hung out with Cord do 2 things really fucking well. And, well, 3. I'm going to give you 3 right now. Actually, 3 up top for the noobs. Oh, this man make a mean drink.
I do.
He pack a cold hookah. And he bust a mean shimmy.
Yeah. Oh,
this nigga bust a mean fucking shimmy. So we're going to give him this 3 up top. And we're going to let Cord make y'all this drink that, actually, shout out Lux Libation. Yeah. Cord and his wife own a bartending service business. And you should get all of your bartending needs from them. And they make a custom drink that they just did for a friend of mine's wedding. Mm-hmm. And he's going to show y'all what that is. So pull each thing out and mix us up. Show them how you do that.
Okay, right now we got the...
Oh, you got to shout out, actually. In the lounge, everybody get a slut cup. It is what it is. He's a slut for the hour.
Yeah.
We love it. We love it. So,
I'm a slut right now.
Slut now. I'll hold yours.
So, you got the Hennessey Privilege.
This ain't no regular shit.
Cool little drink. It's dope. We did the wedding, Lake Ocean wedding, I guess. And these folks know how to turn up. That's enough. Yeah, about enough. I don't want to get too crazy there. These folks make a dope drink.
Look.
So you got the Hennessey Privilege, then you got the
never would have guessed it.
Strawberry lemonade. Any type of strawberry lemonade.
Never would have guessed it. You like, ew, strawberry lemonade, bro.
But it complements each other. The sweetness of the lemonade,
and it's a much more refined Hennessy. Like, niggas still drinking regular label Hennessy. You need to stop that. You need to stop that. That's bad for you. Yeah. But switch to the Privilege. It's a much more sophisticated palate about it. And against this strawberry lemonade, it's really, really nice.
It's dope.
So on Couch and Cocktails, we start with a drink because that shit is lit. And everybody need a little inhibition lifter right there. So we're going to get into some shit. So me and Cord are big Twitter heads, right? So follow Cord at Cord. What's your Twitter name?
Cord 108 across all social media platforms. That's Cord with a K. KORD 108. 7 characters. Something simple. I don't have all those underscores, all that other stuff. Yeah. So Cord 108 on Twitter. Cord 108 on Instagram. Shout out.
That's who he is.
Yeah.
Consistent. One thing about Cord, the nigga's consistent.
Let's get into it.
It's not terrible. Like, cognac sometimes be like,
it's hard. Hard on the chest.
It doesn't do that. But it's not like too sweet that you out here just, champagne and orange juice all morning. You're not headache drunk about it or nothing. This shit, this shit'll make a man out of you, bruh. So if y'all was on Twitter, y'all seen the little dude at the phone shop, and his wife wants his phone fixed, right? Mm-hmm. His wife wants his phone fixed because she thinks he's been cheating and she wants to go through the call log. Your man's puts $100 bill?
Yeah, the dude put $100 bill in the phone and had it.
With the note. What's the note say? I'm sorry, I don't remember the note.
It says, don't say the phone cannot be fixed and just take this little $100, this little $100 and just say it can't be fixed to the wife. Dude hands the phone. It don't show the man handing the phone. It starts out with the video with the tech guy. Yeah. And he's like, well, look at this
What
video.
do I do?
Yeah, and he's like, what do I do? So he...
The fucking most.
Oh, God. He said he wasn't going to include himself or put himself in their business or whatever.
But he fully did.
Yes, he did.
He fully talking about, I don't want to be involved in y'all's thing, but, bruh. That's what a nigga say as they step in your shit. I was like, okay, fool.
You entered
this is great.
So he brings that to her and was like, I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want any issues. Me personally, I would have looked at it as a smaller come up. Cool. Sorry, man, the phone is...
Sorry, can't be fixed. Have a good rest of your day. It's not my business. But finish the story, because the lady continues and she offers him $200. Fix the phone because I want to know what's in it. She's adamant about getting in this phone. The dude is like, help me lie, bro. Here's $100. Just say the shit's broke. Mm-hmm. The lady doubles back and is like, I'll give you $200. Fix this shit. For the nigga that say he don't want to be in it, he fully gets in it.
He's in it.
And says he'll fix the phone for her, but I don't want to be in it. So I don't understand. That part of that really pissed me off.
White people.
You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
I don't want to be in it, but let me help you get further in some shit. Like, if you have an inclination your man is cheating, if you look, you will find. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's simply put. If you look, you will find. So, if the fact that the phone broke or he broke the phone, whatever, to hide it, that should have been enough. And you know what I mean?
A lot of people were saying, like, no matter if she gets the phone fixed or not, she going back to this nigga. You trying, for one, you trying as hard. You just want the phone to be fixed so you can have whatever's in the phone. You can have this evidence or leverage to be like, all right, cool, this is what you did to me. If you don't have that, then the most you can argue is you pay the tech not to get not fix the phone. Right. But I don't know, dude tripping.
I think it was funny though because like everybody on the internet pretty much was saying, just take the 100, say it's broke, and be done with it. Yep. And you said the same thing.
She would have never known.
I feel like
cool, I'm with the 100.
Either way, you got your answer. Is your man not faithful in some regard? Obviously, he's untruthful. He can't be that faithful. All that trouble. You got your answer, but I was like, sis, just walk away. $200 to get the info. You're definitely going back to that nigga because you just want to know. Yes. For leverage sake, like Corey's saying, you just want to fucking know, like. So we're gonna let y'all weigh in on that a little bit more because I'm curious what people have to say. Would you have told or would you have not? Because, or why? You know, maybe you're the person that's been cheated on and you're like, no, give me all my receipts. I want to know. I personally, tip of the iceberg is enough for me.
I mean,
I think we now know that.
We do. For me, and I've been cheated on and I've cheated like in the past, but I've also never went to that extent to like hide it. Right. And I've also never went to that extent to try to find out if somebody is cheating. Right. If I feel it in my bone, then it is what it is. Like what Cliff say, cheat like an adult. Yeah. Cheat like an adult. And you can't cheat and then be like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose everything. Like you knew that before you cheated.
You knew that. And like, if you weren't gonna cheat with somebody with mutual destruction, you have to have shared mutual destruction. Yes. You gonna creep with somebody that got some shit to lose, like you got to lose. And then everybody gonna shut the fuck up.
I learned that from an OG. If you gonna
everybody gonna shut the fuck up. If we all gonna die, no.
Yeah. If you gonna cheat, you gotta cheat with somebody that has
plenty
equal or more to lose than you. Remember that, people.
Remember that. That's happy cheating.
Yes. Happy cheating. That's the only way you gonna get by with it. Like
that's the come up of cheating.
If you gonna cheat and she knows she finna lose her husband who finances her. Cool, she not finna be too rowdy.
Too risque with this. Like you're not finna be texting after 9.
Exactly.
Sir, this man pays all my bills.
Exactly.
Like nah.
Exactly. It's just like a dude.
But
like,
you got a goofy ass nigga sleeping on your house. Like you finna cheat bold.
And you gotta live with that. You gotta live with that decision.
It's different. You gotta have more to risk, more to lose rather. My opinion. But you know, we both have turned our leaves and we only drink out of slut cups. We have hung up our slut hats, and we are happy. And Court is very faithful. I am happy to be faithful.
I am. Very.
Happy to be faithful. This is here's to growth.
Growth. Definitely.
To grow.
Grow.
That's so good. Like, all right, so we want to jump right into this thing. Me and Cord are good friends in real life, obviously. So we spend a lot of time in our friend group, just kicking it, getting food. Even amidst COVID, we still find ways to spend time like we were willing to do this, which means a lot to me. Thank you again. But recently, we were out at a Mexican restaurant. And this is the first topic of microaggression. We were out at this Mexican restaurant. We're seated in a really big booth. You know, it's a bunch of couples. We're having a good night. And this white, older, middle-aged white man walks past. And you can tell when somebody thinks they recognize you. You know, and he's like, and he recognizes my boyfriend at the time, Wes. He recognizes him, and he's like, aren't you? And he's like, no. They go through all these lists of reasons that they don't fucking know each other.
Yes.
And he's like, I thought you were this guy named Brandon. Everybody's like, nope, not Brandon. This is Wes.
Whole 3-minute conversation.
Like, he stays for a while trying to figure out, you know, really implying that, like, his daddy is a Rolling Stone type shit. But all of that stays. Wes is willing to be patient and clear it all up. And he still thinks he's Brandon. So he goes onto the restroom. And then as he's coming back, we've already specified that this is not Brandon. All of these reasons it's not fucking Brandon.
Yes.
He proceeds to say, y'all have a good night. Bye, Brandon.
That pissed me off. My response out of all of that, once he said bye, Brandon, I turned to the guy and said, that's not his fucking name.
That's why I'm like, bro, don't take Cord in public if you're not willing for Cord to be 100 at all times. I love it.
Yeah.
I always feel safe. I don't mind a little action. But, like, Cord immediately was like, that's not his fucking name. He wasn't loud. He wasn't abrasive. It was just, he immediately recognized that as being a microaggression when most of us were all like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, because the whole table was like, oh, my God, Cord, why would you say that? Courtney looked at me crazy. Amara looked at me. Everybody was just like, oh, my God, Cord, why would you do that? Cord. He was just joking. Wes was like, no, it's nothing. I'm like, no, like, that is a true microaggression. Yeah. You told him, you went through this whole conversation. No, I'm not Brandon. You're mistaken. And he just say, he goes to the bathroom, digests this conversation. Right. Pees, hopefully washes his hands, comes out and say, all right, y'all have a good night. Bye, Brandon. And I'm like, no, that's not his fucking name.
That's not his fucking name.
He did that intentionally. Yeah. Like, you tell someone, like, no, you're mistaken.
You're nice enough to have patience and set them straight. That was my thing. You know, we could have easily deaded the conversation and been very rude about it. But Wes was nice enough. The whole table was kind enough to, you know, jolly along with the guy. And he still chooses to, like, exercise that last shred of authority that is just your whiteness to call him another name. And in the moment, I really didn't have a lot to say because until I wanted to hear what you had to say because you were the only one upset by it. And I was like, maybe we're missing it. And, like, amidst this climate right now, I feel like some of us, if we would like to admit it, have grown up very diluted. You know what I mean? And assimilation and race mixing, all of these things have really washed and whitewashed a lot of our initial protection of our blackness. Yeah. And it hasn't done that for you. No. In that regard.
I think because I didn't get into a white space until I started working. I'm an accountant, one of the few black male accountants across the country. True. And I'm in this predominantly male-dominated space. And I'm just like, okay, cool. So I catch a lot of the subtle things that they do. Like the bye branding or little shit like that. And it irritates me because
it becomes core.
Yes. And at work, it's kind of hard for me to participate in a lot of like conversation with my white colleagues. And I'm just like, all right, I know I can't truly be myself around them. And I don't necessarily like hiding myself. So I'm always not necessarily isolated, but I kind of keep work as work. Yeah. And I go home, that's home. So I try to separate.
It's like a little bit of a peninsula. Like I'm attached to this work office. Sure, I buy into whatever our company culture is, but y'all aren't my friends. Exactly. You know, and so many people, you hear that all the time, like that make friends at work. And sometimes I envy that, but other times I'm like, oh no, in my office is majority black. Yeah. But I would not hang out with them niggas. Like, when they old, but they are messy. And aside from the potluck, there is no benefit to having a white or having a black workspace. Like, we eat goods.
Yeah. And I would never eat at a potluck.
No. With Brian and them.
back to the I guess the we're not friends piece of it. I have a funny story about that. When I first crossed Kappa, my DP, me and my line brothers, we all went out of town. We came back and my DP was like, "Damn, you didn't hit us up, you didn't tell us to go." And I was like, "Well, we not friends." And that was at that point.
At that specific moment, we were not friends.
We weren't friends at that moment. Granted, now like we built a relationship. Yeah. He's in my wedding now. Like, yeah, we're cool now. It's like my brother. He has come into my circle to where I feel like I can trust you. I can trust you.
Yeah.
So it was just that. I'm like, I keep that very separated. So like, if we're cool, if we're at work and we're cool, like when me and Brianna work together.
Yeah.
I couldn't really just be around her all the time. I go over, speak, talk, have a little small talk, but then I always kept that at a bare minimum.
Yeah.
So I don't want these white people not just white people, just.
But in a corporate setting, period.
Yeah.
For cultural sake, these white people.
Yeah.
Because that's not something that I have to think twice about in my office because everyone is black.
And I did the podcast the other day and I was saying like I'm not really good with sarcasm.
No.
I don't get it. I don't initiate it. I just don't do it. So when it's brought to me, I can't determine if you're being serious or if you're joking. But I always said in the workspace, if white people are being sarcastic or whatever, it's some truth.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there
is true. That joke's not a joke.
Exactly. It's not a joke. So it pisses me off a lot.
Because they do that, and in that, like, to go back to the restaurant, they do that so subtly. And if you have been conditioned or you've always been with white people, what is not sarcasm and it is in fact microaggression, it becomes a joke.
Yes.
And you're willing to like let it wash over you when in fact you should be more offended and you should be able to say, you know, that's disrespectful or, you know, don't fucking play with me straight up. Like,
and they use that to backpedal, like on whatever the joke may be. Like if they bring this sarcastic joke to you and then you get offended and you're showing them that, hey, I'm offended.
Right.
Whoa, it was just a
joke. No.
I'm just playing. No.
It's not a joke.
Stand on it.
Yeah.
No, don't try to be subtle and then when I'm offended, now you're offended that I'm offended and you try to backpedal and say,
I can't stand somebody that plays the victim. And I think the race card and race in general, it gives the oppressor this weird opportunity to play the victim.
Yes.
And for somebody like you that always like claims their authority and speaks on it first, I often like, especially if I'm around for the moment, I might be late to the party, but then I'd be like, yeah, hell yeah, Cord, no, fuck all that. Cord is right. Like, you know, and I think that's, everybody needs a Cord. One, to remind them that your black ass is black and we give no fuck. You know what I mean? And you got to root for everybody black. And even when it's not, it wasn't you. Like, he didn't address you. It wasn't your cross to bear. But as this crusader for the culture, you were like, no, that is the thing. No. Everybody see it. Call it what it is. You know? And I'm like, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's so fucking fantastic. Because you'll just be like, oh, no, not Brandon. And really he go back to the table and be like, fucking niggers.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh.
And
okay.
And it's weird, and I'm bringing this back. I can appreciate. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a Donald Trump supporter, but some of the rhetoric that he spewed, like, has empowered so many other races to like come out and show
who they really are.
Who they really are. That I can appreciate.
I am on this cup.
Cool. I can appreciate.
It was definitely a call out for an opportunity. If you got any kind of feelings and sentiments, safe space.
Yes.
No, this is not.
Yes.
It has let all the bigots show.
I can appreciate it. Don't hide behind the subtleness of your racism.
Yeah.
Like, show it. If you're racist, stand on it.
Because I think there was always this kind of undertone in the later millennia that the Republican Party is racist. Yeah. Their agenda is racist. You know, the dismantling of healthcare, the removing of women's rights, all of these things. You know, they may not always be black initiatives, but they roll back to a period where white men remain entirely in control. And that is, by and regard, racist. You know, so if they want all the power, it's to suppress everyone else, and that's a fucking problem.
Yes.
You know, so I think now that the Republican Party, you know, somebody had that on their Instagram today. When you see a Trump 2020 in somebody's yard,
what
I just
does it really mean?
I am racist.
Exactly.
Like, okay, cool, because it never seems to be that. And I'm kind of annoyed though with the Democratic Party in that regard, because even all of Biden's campaign stuff right now is not pro-Biden but anti-Trump. Mm-hmm. And you're preying on people's emotions that are anti-something. Can we not all be for something? When we all were for Obama, it was because we believed in this change.
Yes.
This I can change thing.
We have to detach ourselves from a specific party.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as black people. Yes, the Democratic Party, you automatically associate that with black people. The Republican Party, you automatically associate that with racism and oppression and all this other shit that's going on. But if we're being honest, both parties are full of shit.
Don't give a fuck.
And I had this conversation with my in-laws, basically saying where I grew up and how I grew up, it's people back home that don't vote.
Yeah.
Because they see no true benefit in it. Mm-hmm. They're still in the same situations that they were in when Bush was in office, Obama administration, Trump administration. It doesn't matter. Their circumstances have not changed.
Yeah. And that was there were two white men, a Trump supporter and a Biden supporter, and they were like shaking hands on some median intersection on the interstate, and everybody was like, see, why can't we all be supportive? And we were like, because neither of them have shit to lose.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And people like to really rag folks that don't vote, but we live in Tennessee. This is a red state.
Yes.
Our electoral college is going to continually go red until we like to have a conversation about changing the electoral college and waiting more on the popular vote. Then it doesn't fucking matter if you'd like to be honest. Mm-hmm. I hope you all vote. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's one thing that I do out of real respect for John Lewis and people that really, if you did not study African American history and you have not spent any time with the people that really did the footwork for us to fucking vote, you owe it to those lives. Like, and those aren't people that are far from us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? These are people that are only 65, 70 years old. You know these motherfuckers. Like, you owe it to these people to stand your funky ass in line and cast your little vote. But understand that no matter how much Davidson Metro County says we want Biden, this state will vote red. And we will give all of our points to Trump. And that can be very disheartening. Like, exactly what you're saying is that it doesn't matter who's in office. There's folks in Memphis and Shelby County, period, that
they're still going through
don't
the same
give a
thing.
fuck. And it's people, if you'd like to be honest, your life hasn't changed. My life has not changed.
It hasn't.
You know what I mean? But he goes in this debate and he's like, who did more for black people? And it's like, you better shut the fuck up. Did
you watch the debate?
Up. That shit was the first debate was like infuriating. It was just so frustrating. But this one was almost comical with how many lies ran rampant out here.
Yes. I didn't watch the debate that night. I came on the next morning. I watched it.
Yeah, I would. Because we was hanging out.
Yeah, we was.
Yes.
Yeah, we was.
Friend time.
Yeah, we was kicking it. What was it, Thursday night?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we was kicking it, and Trump said, I can't see anyone, but I'm the least racist person in this room. Yes. Which still, in fact, indicates that you're racist.
Fully, you're racist. So good.
The simplest statement would have been, I'm not a racist.
I'm not racist.
Simple. You did it right there.
You can't do it.
Now, when you say I'm the least racist person in the room, you then put yourself on the spectrum.
Right.
Okay.
Shall I compare all of my racist acts to all of your racist acts?
Keyword racist.
Racist. That is crazy.
Yeah.
And that's what's so disheartening about it is neither one of them, though, can say the thing for their party. Mm-hmm. So Trump can never stand on that platform and say, I'm not a racist.
Yes.
You can't say it. You'll never be able to say that. You'll never denounce white supremacy. But I find it so annoying and necessary that Biden, in turn, stands the fuck up and says Black lives do matter.
Yes. And Biden...
And like, he'll say it in a way but not enough that's like BLM.
Exactly.
Give it to me that way, and you could take this vote, but they all have people to please.
Yeah.
And it's not the people.
That's true. And Biden is coming back, and I can't sit and say Biden has been like for black people throughout his political career because of the 94 crime bills, these crack laws,
all of that shit.
He was in for that. He supported that. He voted for that or whatever. So we're looking at Biden like, okay, you have a lot of ground to make up.
For sure.
And as of right now, it's like you said earlier, yes, it's just to get Trump out of office rather than
get me in. I can help you.
I can help.
Like, he keeps saying that, like, I got a plan. He doesn't even have a plan. Maybe take these 2 minutes, sir, and run me this plan.
Exactly.
I would love to hear, that in your first 100 days, you will give all American families a $2,000 stipend monthly until we start to make some real headway with this disease.
Virus.
We're going to equip every small business with however, I don't even know what economics would look like for that, but however much loan to stay afloat a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Everything is residual. You know what I mean? So nobody wanted to succumb to COVID. So I don't think a lot of people initially were upset about the shutdown because nobody wanted to get sick. But then now that it's lasted this long, people that were in the service industry and all these people that have been greatly affected. My mom does contract work for healthcare. They canceled a lot of that shit. Yeah. So
bartenders.
I was very grateful to be on the federal side of housing and keep my job. You're in the private sector in accounting, now in education, but niggas was on chopping block.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that little bit of unemployment has now ended. And American families are really struggling.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to hear why we all hate him. I hate him enough to vote anything but him, yes. But can you please give me a reason that I might tell somebody else?
Yes.
Okay, can you come vote Biden too, though? Because I got nothing for either. And that's really disappointing.
I feel the same. We have two, I'm going to just say it. We have two people that's running. Either way, I feel like it's going to be messed up. Whoever
we're taking an L across the board.
It's if we put Trump in for 4 more years or we put Biden in for the next 4 years,
we better pray Biden can make it 4 years.
Yes.
Just like we better, if Trump is in, he's liable to die in 4 years. You know what I mean?
270
old ass white men.
And if we haven't seen any pattern of this country, old ass white men have been trying to remain in power for since
power began.
God. And we can't seem to get away from that. Old ass white men making laws for women.
Yeah.
I don't have a vagina. I don't have a uterus. I can't fathom what they go through. Let someone else decide.
Let the
what's
ladies
going
do
on.
it.
Exactly. That's why I say this, men, we have ruined our chances at making shit right. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's get a woman in there somewhere.
And I just feel like it's not
just a woman, but particularly a black woman.
Particularly, let's be honest.
Yeah.
A young
woman
would be nice.
Yes. That would be nice.
Because I think that what's lacking in politics is perspective. And they think that they've made these laws and made all this progress, when in fact it's like, have you though? Bop. I thought it started an episode. Cool. We'll see if that overlays. Whatever happens.
Okay.
But it's all about perspective. So young Senate leaders like AOC, that are making all of this change and making all this noise because she sees what the common person deals with because she was just recently a common person. She hasn't been diluted by the 50 years of politics that is Joe Biden. But you know what I mean? He's always been a politician. And even though you saw this thing on Twitter where they were showing his house. And really it was just a great example of housing inflation. But that's still a man that lives like that. And what does he do? You know what I mean? All I see Joe Biden do is eat ice cream. You can't be for real.
Get Joe is so fitting. It's so
Sleepy
fitting
Joe.
for him. But I feel like once you get in politics, once you get, no matter the age, no matter the color, once you get to a certain point in politics, I feel like shit changes. That's when you have a lot of these backroom conversations.
It's self-serving.
Yes, it becomes
super self-serving. And all of these big conglomerates that are allowed to lobby for political gain, I think that that's one of the most dangerous things about this country.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There are no big pharma commercials in other countries. You don't see commercials for heart medicines and things like that. They're not allowed.
You're right.
They're not allowed. We only do that here because big pharma lobbies for advertising time. And that's disgusting when there's other holistic methods. There's a whole consumer report on how sugar gives kids cancer. But sugar lobbied its ass off to rewrite that to be high fructose corn syrup so that they can continue to make their money. And it's like, we're talking about American lives, and you people are in office at the stake of American lives, and you're not even really concerned with well-being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you would let sugar continue just for the sake of $1, knowing that I think it's 2 billion children are diabetic.
Yeah, and oh God, that's terrible. And
when you could just easily say, all right, everybody don't get that much sugar, but you keep sugar on the food pyramid because sugar went the fuck off on y'all.
We're a capitalist country too. Everything is about $1 in this country. That's
crazy.
And a lot of foreigners have a perception of, okay, when they're in their home countries and then they can come over here to make a better life, to make money, blase, they get over here and it smacks them in the face like, this shit is just as fucked up.
It's bad.
We portray to other countries that
the land of the free.
We're this beautiful country and we have all our shit together when in fact, like, no. We don't.
No.
We're terrible.
We fucking suck.
It sucks. And
we're the ghetto in a Gucci belt.
you see a lot of that shit in the military. I'm in the military too.
Yeah.
You see a lot of that in the military. Like, and yes, I'm a black man, but I question a lot of times, like, damn, why is it so many black people in the military? And it's
the same thing that was the pipeline to prison. It preys on poverty.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It boils down, black people only. It's not that we truly love this country.
No.
Yes.
Proud to be an American.
Yeah, I'm proud to be an American.
I believe it through and through.
But we're in the military for
benefits.
I'm in the military because they help pay for school. I get a great rates on housing loans. I do all these things to benefit me and my immediate family.
But it's like, with your life,
it
you know what I mean?
It's
as if I don't pay with my life just to exist day to day. I now have to offer you my life
in order to get
to get what is really the same benefit you've been getting. But it's far better than what the average black man does get. Yes. Oh, you see what I'm saying? Yes. And that, like, anytime we have these conversations just in our friendships, you know, and like at brunches and at the house smoking hookah, I just be like, God damn. As if he has not paid with his life, made it out the mud, and now you still want the nigga life?
Yes. And
he's every other month we like, oh, Corey on the drill. God bless that man.
The military is so
bless that man.
It's so fucked up. For like, granted, and the crazy thing about it, it was this retirement ceremony that we had maybe about a year ago for a high-ranking command sergeant major or whatever. It's like the highest you can get on that side, on the enlisted side. And his retirement speech led with, what did he say? He said, don't blame white people for any of your shortcomings. And when he said that, I slouched in my seat. The same demeanor that I have now, I was like, you're a black man.
He's black?
Yeah, black man. He had been in the military like 36 years. And I was like, you're a black man, probably born in the early 60s. You're around my mom's age.
Okay.
And you have the audacity to say, don't blame white people for your shortcomings in this world.
If you ain't shucking
and jiving like that Daffy Duck gif.
Hey. Come on, soft foot.
That it didn't piss me off to the point where it pissed me off.
Yeah.
To the point where, yes, I'm in the military. We have certain military like I can't react the same way.
Right.
So I have to like.
There's decorum right now.
And control my feelings, my facial expressions, how I breathe, how I look at a motherfucker. Like,
fight me.
But when he said that, it took me back, and I'm like, how can a black man born in the 70s, in the 60s, and somewhat the prime of when bullshit was going on, when you done been in all these wars,
watching the fight,
you done seen all these wars, you've come home,
watched America oppress other countries.
How can you say this to a room full of, yes, it's black and white people in there, but my unit is in Georgia, predominantly black unit.
Really?
A lot of the kids are like, they out of school, they're in college, they're starting their military careers.
Okay.
So we took about 100 soldiers down there. About 60 of them are black.
Wow.
And we looking at it, I'm like, bro. And I'm one of the oldest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can you say that?
Yeesh.
How can you stand on that? And when he said that, the rest of his speech went on deaf ears.
Yeah.
When it came to me. And I feel like a lot of them that were so young, to the point they didn't really understand when he was saying this.
Yeah.
And
they're so conditioned
God.
in their white experiences that they didn't understand how disrespectful that was to your own black plight.
Yes.
That you really got here off of the backs of a lot of people.
Yes.
And that it's not that we blame white America for why it's been hard. We just tell the truth about what you've done that has made it hard.
Exactly.
And if it wasn't white America, then who was it? You know what I mean? Like.
And as a black man, I felt it coming from another black man. It's like one of those token black people at your job. They're at the top, and it's so hard for black men. And
that was me at Apple.
Oh God! Like corporate America for black men, like this shit is tough. Yes, it's hard for black women. I understand. I
can't imagine.
It's so hard for y'all.
I cannot imagine.
But black women are more educated statistically than black men.
Yeah.
And that's one thing why I always say, like, I can work under a black woman because I know she's going to give me the real. She knows her shit.
That's real.
And she got to where she got doing
legitimately
her job.
Yeah.
So, like, as
like,
a black man,
I hate to say that, but, like, most of the white women that I know in power really did slut out there. They slutted out to get there. In some form or another, like, it may not have been direct sexual favor, but they've slutted out on something to get there. And black women, real deal, put their head down and prove themselves over time for longer, taking less to get where they are. It's worth the applaud. And I've worked under quite a few black women now. My boss now is a black woman, and I adore her because she's so real.
Yes.
I can trust that she know her shit.
And they take care of everyone equally. Whether you black, white, whatever the case may be.
She's always fair.
But I found if a black man is in that position, typically, not always.
Sometimes power is toxic.
That black man sees another black man trying to come up, rather than mentoring him, showing him the ropes. He makes it so fucking
keep
hard.
that quiet right there. Keep it, hey, bro. No, you can't come from it. It's
Oh.
one of me. There's already one of me.
We done already hit our diversity
status
quo.
We
done already hit that. We done already hit quorum when it comes to that. And I'm like, how can you do that?
Yeah.
To like a black, and
I think it's fear.
If I'm working tirelessly, I'm working.
Yep. Hennessey Privilege.
Yeah. I'm working my ass off to get in those positions to empower the black man.
Yeah, I see that.
I had how I got my job now. A black guy, Rob, my best friend.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm working my ass off to be able to put people that look like me in those positions and like mentor. My mentor now is a black woman. Nice. I love it. CPA, CFO, like she's dope. And she graduated from Fisk. Like,
come on, see,
I'm cool with it.
Yeah. So I'm all about inviting other HBCU grads, young professionals into the space.
Shout out to TSU.
Shout out to TSU. That's where me and Cord met.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for our time at TSU, I said all the time, I was not a bad kid. I grew up very well. I, had no problems. I would not have the growth and the diversity that I have if it was not for Tennessee State University. Yeah. I am quite a proud alum. But it's that, you know what I mean? Are you going to, when given the opportunity, reach back and get the one, even if they may be a little rough around the edges, like, hey, come on, you can do this. Yeah. You can do this, because there aren't many people taking chances. And for all of this conversation about, like, writing Black Lives Matter on the street and all that kind of bullshit. Like, it's all performative. What I would like you to see is make a corporate initiative that says we're going to hire 100 HBCU grads every year for the next 5 years. You know, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Or we're going to create now 4 new roles on our board for people of color, specifically women and minorities, whatever that may look like for your company, to say, you know, we want to have somebody at this level, not just, what is that fucking, where were we just out of town? Where the fuck? I was just in DC, and somebody had it. They had it in a fucking window, like in their office. All these little Black Lives Matter signs. Like, that's cool. That's cool. I want to see your city say Black Lives Matter, but I want to see your company diversify in favor of black people. Particularly on your executive board. And it's like, we had this whole thing about affirmative action, and white people were livid. You know, people don't talk about affirmative action a lot, but my mom is actually a product of affirmative action because she's a city kid from St. Louis. North St. Louis, everything she knows, she's just like you. Everything she knows is purely black teachers, black experiences. And then she went to St. Louis University, which is, I believe, a Catholic white school, you know, in downtown St. Louis. Just a totally different experience. But because she was a nigga out the city, get a kid a scholarship. Yeah. But she was by no means equipped to be at this level with these people and receive this oppression on top of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, y'all act like you gave us affirmative action and we hoisted 1 million people to the top. No, you really just like broke a lot of people down to going back to whatever was comfortable and safe for them. And the few of them, like my parents, in fact, that did, like my father went to the University of Missouri at Columbia, went ahead and graduated and finished and did the things. Like, you still was just a nigga out of school. Like, it's that conditioning that they made you think, oh, well, hey, you made it out of Mizzou, man. You did it. And it's like, he still got to put black on his job application. Yeah. He still got to write black on his mortgage loan. You know what I mean? There's all these things that are stacked against you. So if you're not going to make an effort on the corporate level in the real realm of what is living in this fucking country, I don't want to see Black Lives Matters on your street. Yeah, and that's how you can determine, like, if a company is truly reaching out, like, truly being diverse. Like, you look at all these positions of power and you see white man, white man, white man, white man, white man, white man. We had to talk about that because we're looking for somebody on our finance committee board, and we had our last meeting. I think it was in August for July's and August numbers at the end of the month. So we had this meeting and we was like, damn, every board member is white. Every board member. And no one in this room can relate. And we had a talk with our CFO, and we was like, we need to specifically reach out to a black person that's in education that can fill this role. Yeah. Because unfortunately it has to be more than one, because if there's just one, the tokenism returns. Yes, it does. And when we had this meeting and we're like, okay, we need to find someone, I'm like, we have to find a couple people. Yeah. A couple of people. No, it's not like, just one. It's me and this other black guy. I'm not going to say his name. Me and this other black guy when we work together. And I'm like, it's just us. But outside of that, I'm not on the board. I'm in the organization. So we have people outside the organization, like other CFOs and other CPAs of like big companies around Nashville to kind of like guide us, since we're nonprofit and stuff like that, of successful companies or whatever. And I'm looking at this board, I'm like, bro, there's no one that looks like me on this board. Period. And if it had just been one, that still wouldn't be enough. Yes. Because I'm asking this one man to represent a very multifaceted people in all capacities, and to be protecting black interests and speaking on black behalf. His experience may not be that. You know? And notice we're saying black and not people of color. There is a difference. Black. And I appreciate Asian Americans in particular because they have no interest in breaking into. They own their lane and they dominate that shit. Some of them identify as white though. But they culture all of that and assimilate into this white line of experience, and they're much more inclined to receive white benefit than people of color. It's very few Asians that I know that would really call themselves people of color. But you've seen now, how many Asians are quick to say nigga.
Yeah. They really have
that
to
is
stop
a thing. That is a thing, bruh.
That is a black word.
That's a fucking thing.
We've taken a word that means that hurt us so much, and we've learned to like embrace it and take it and be like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna take power from it, and old people really don't like saying nigga.
No.
So we just gonna take it. It
takes
ours.
A certain kind
no
of black
one
experience
else can say it.
To embrace nigga, and a lot of people that are forward thinking but would like to remove stigma don't adopt to nigga. When I was in high school, shout out my friend Israel Nellis, smart cat, buy a home from him. Israel came up with this theory, the Chitlin theory, about how black people have taken the worst of everything and made it a delicatessen.
Yes.
And it's like, people love, Courtney fucking loves chitlins.
And I can't stand
it. And I can't stand that shit.
I don't even pull that out.
I fucking hate chitlins. But niggas love that shit. And there's always somebody's grandmama, somebody Gigi that's got a recipe for how to unfunk and unstank it and make it great. But that's what nigga is to me. Like, you've had this one thing that you've hung over my head and pressed onto me and tried to make it a horrible stigma. And there is no moment like the months that we were all apart when we did all get back together. It was like, nigga,
yes.
My nigga.
Yes.
Like, but that's an anecdote and a term of endearment for me that if you are not black, don't ever my nigga me.
And that's one thing I can't say I've never dealt with. And I think it goes back to me being raised in like black spaces and stuff like that. So like I wasn't raised around white people, don't know their lingo. I'm still like I said, I'm still learning how to navigate in their spaces. But when it comes to like nigga, yes, my mama, she'll say it, but she's pissed at that point.
Yeah, she mean it when she say it.
She's missed. Yeah. She's hot at that point. But like the us that's younger, it's like, all right, cool, we'll say nigga.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like if we were to hear that from another group of people, anyone else, it's like, what?
Excuse me?
And you're instantly offended.
Triggered as fuck.
You can go from to what?
You straight?
You alright?
And like, in particular, white people, it's always a negative connotation from white people. I think sometimes though when you hear it from Asians or even Hispanics, you're almost taken aback, like.
Yeah. Oh, and we'll give like a Hispanic like a pass. Like we give certain people a pass outside of white people, depending on how you grew up.
Look,
like if like Joe Budden, not Joe Budden, Fat Joe.
I'm about to say Fat Joe. Okay,
him like he grew up how he grew up here in the Bronx, nigga. Like we embrace it.
You a real nigga, we get it.
We got it.
But
Cardi B, like
not a nigga, but a nigga. Yes.
All of these people that are not necessarily black, but they're not white.
But they're not white.
It's a different thing that comes
tone.
Yeah,
even tone, with all of the sentiment and endearment that we try to, embody in nigga, it's not from you. It's not from you. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work like that. So I prefer my white people not to say nigga.
Yes.
And I do have a lot of white family and all of these things, but that's what's so interesting about having that white experience. I have had, several friends try to nigga me. And you be like, now Hannah.
See,
like
that slick goes back to the buy branding. Like,
yes.
I don't know in that moment because like now I know I got a lot to lose. I done built the little that I have built for myself. Like, I don't know what my initial reaction would be.
Yeah.
Because I'm always a reactive type of person. Like, I'm never gonna start nothing. I'm never gonna. But if it comes to me,
but if you said
cool.
it, bitch, you said it.
Now you gotta meet my energy at that point. So like, I don't know how I'll take if a white person was be like, "What up, nigga?" and I'm like, he got about 6 seconds before I decide.
It'll flip your ass.
What I'm gonna do.
You remember my ex minor? Okay, I don't know if you ever really met Minor, but like,
no, I haven't.
My brother has a friend, a set of twins that we grew up with, and we lost one twin to suicide, and ever since, his brother is just, he's had a tough go. Yeah. You know what I mean? He struggles with some alcoholism, all this stuff, but that's you, a piece of you. You know what I mean? And suicide, that's really that's dark, and I can only imagine how much burden he does carry, and how much of that resonates in his like bad behaviors and stuff like that. But he grew up like any nigga would have. You know what I mean? He did not have an easy go of it. His family is not well to do. They are, you know, no shade, no hate, po white trash by any other measure. You know, but they're good people. Yeah. His family is good people. I love them dearly, but they are not black. And if you saw him, he literally looks like any depiction of Jesus. He's got long, moppy brown hair. He looks like Jesus. But
the Jesus that
they portray. He looks like white Jesus. And anybody that would meet him would be like, you know, oh my God, Jesus. But he'll nigga it out. And I mean, he's one of the first people in my life that, like, when I came back from college and really caught him nigging, I was just like, ooh. Oh, you good? Like, and lost my shit. And really was mad at my sibling because I'm like, you've allowed it. Yeah. And he's like, you know. But again, every black experience is different. He feels like, you know, he's come up like us. It's not that bad. It's not. And that's no offense to my brother. He doesn't feel like it's an offensive thing. He says it out of endearment. Any other black person I know is just like,
I'm not giving a pass under no circumstances.
And I think that they're not passes. There are people that are close to you and intimate, and their experiences warrant certain levels of socioeconomic inclusion. Niggas just really tricky. And this wasn't even supposed to be a topic, but I think that like it makes a really good topic.
It does.
Because the political climate right now is really divisive. Very. And it's us against them across every board. Very. And we're all looking for who's in and who's out. And something like the use of nigga is, you know, one of those things that either we're going to receive those people or we're going to say like, hey, that's a no-go. Mm-hmm. You know, but it's another way that we pit each other against each other.
Yeah. I'm black. I'm a black and white guy. I don't really have gray areas. So
that's real.
So it's either you on one side of the fence or you on the other side of the fence. Like,
right.
Under no circumstances am I giving. I don't care how you grew up. I don't care what black experiences you may have went through.
That's fair.
If you are white, this word is completely off limits to you around me.
Fair.
Professionally, socially, it's off limits when it comes. That's just how I feel. Your brother may be different. Your sibling may be different.
But I mean, think about not even just my one sibling. I know quite a few black people that run with all white circles.
And they just...
And that is just not a thing. Like, I mean, several. No. This is only one instance. This is one instance on my brother's side, one friend, the only time. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's been a thing, and I feel like he's had since, like he knows his place about that shit. Like, bro, watch his mouth for sure. Yeah. But, like, other friends that I have, like, girls that used to play, like, soccer with me and shit, and, like, folks I really know, get your ass in a canoe. Them white folks, nigga. Nah, let a rap song come on. Nigga. Man, look.
See, look. No, don't even sing around me. Because I don't want to.
And that's what's so interesting about living in Nashville now, though, is like there are no black spaces. Spaces.
It's not. Well, you know we got Willie B's now. With Willie B's, we had Minerva. And
that's it.
Nigga about sick of Weekend.
I'm about sick of this shit. But it's like, that's it. And if you don't want to exist in a space where there's this musical pass for people to appropriate your culture, then you stay your black ass in the house. Like, that's why Core packs the best hookah in Nashville, because we don't leave the crib no more. Like, no, yeah. I just pull up on them with the coals, because it's pointless, bruh. But all of that is interesting because it kind of falls right into what I want to finish with. Because you are not the type of nigga to go softly in the night. No. By any measure. And if no one saw Antebellum, that shit was in premise terrifying.
The idea, great.
But the movie was, terrible. Yeah. Like, the shit was ass trash. Yeah. I don't know the director's name off top, but it was just not good.
And Jordan Peele had his
all the money. He was the producer. Yeah. So he was the executive producer, which is just the money. But the director is who creates this film and, you know, brings that vision to life. So while he, I guess, envisioned it to be like Us and Get Out, it did not come to fruition as such. But this premise that you are kidnapping woke and
modern
niggas of 2020 and taking them to real life Civil War enactment camps and making slaves of them, you're gonna have to fucking kill me.
It could be possible because they still have these reenactment camps going on.
They're so popular.
Yes.
And I've often, if you've ever been to one, any of the like
I haven't,
the plantation, the Hermitage Plantation, or Belmont Plantation, there's often black people working there on behalf, portraying this slave handmade kind of thing. And you're like,
how could you be a black person and work as a slave? Like.
And as a black historian, I appreciate your willingness to show me in real time what that looks like. You have to be next level humble. I can't.
You do.
I can't do
I
it.
couldn't. And
bitch, you got to beat me.
Yeah,
no way. It's no way.
I couldn't go and reenact like a slave,
bruh,
like every day for like a paycheck.
Big old tough.
I don't think I could do it. I'm not that humble. I'm not that.
I don't care how much acting we're doing.
No.
You speak to me one way too many times. It's just not going to work for me. And
do
that's exactly what they've done. They've kidnapped this Janelle Monáe character and all these other black people, and they have them reenacting slave life in this Civil War camp.
Yes.
But they're living it fully. And the men that play on the South, on the Confederate side, come back to camp and rape these women. And no one's allowed to speak. So in theory, the movie is so fucking scary. And I think when I saw it, I was just like, ain't no way.
Ain't no way. And they were kidnapping like regular black people that really didn't have a name. They wasn't really popular, no celebrities. But they fucked up
when they got her.
When they kidnapped Janelle Monáe.
Because her family apparently really kind of made a campaign about getting her back.
Yeah, getting her back. And on one of the phone calls, it was like her husband has to stop looking for her.
Yeah.
Like, when is he going to stop looking for her? And it goes back to, like, I don't think, come back. Certain plantations have certain reputations.
Yeah.
So, like,
for sure.
This particular plantation that they had recreated or whatever, you couldn't talk.
Such a smart oppression.
Even between each other, y'all couldn't talk unless a white person gave you permission. And I think that's what kind of like held it down for so long, because
there was
if
no
they
communication.
Were to kidnap us, I couldn't tell you where I'm from, what I do,
what my name is.
What my name is, I couldn't tell you that. So, in theory,
terrifying.
The movie was great.
Oh, so scary.
The idea of the movie was great.
Because you're taking, you just wake up, wherever, and now it's like, don't nobody speak. Like,
I couldn't imagine waking up, going to sleep.
But you see people real deal getting beat.
Yes. Real
deal getting murdered. So you're like, nah, this is something to be scared of. But it's like, amidst this current political climate, it's not unlikely.
It's possible
that white people don't lose their mind. And when Trump made the comment that, like, he's not going to take office lightly or transition easily, there's a lot of people prepared for, like, Civil War drama about this and ready to die about it. I think this is counting down on me, so I want to stop and reset. Yes, it is. Hey, do the thing. Boom. So, this political climate right now, it's not so far-fetched to think that white supremacists don't rally up and make a real move against black Americans. And that's, one, terrifying. But, in fact, execution is feasible for something like this. You see this with, they try to kidnap the governor out of Michigan. You see that?
No.
I don't know if she's the governor. Yeah, she's the governor because it's Michigan as a state.
Yeah, I missed that one.
This white lady in Michigan, Democratic governor in Michigan, a white supremacy group, Proud Boys, were going to kidnap this woman and her family, take them to another location, torture her for information, and kill them all. Bruh.
That's what made...
The FBI foiled that plan. Now, she was at home at work or something, and Michigan State troopers come and, like, swarm on her, come with us, don't ask no questions. They come get her kids, come get her husband, all of that shit. They were going to take you and kidnap you tonight.
I mean, the government put crack in black communities.
Please speak on
so
it. Please speak
I don't put in these government agencies.
God is preaching.
That's what makes me believe Antebellum could be so real. And
so fucking real.
And for some odd reason, I like to go and read like reviews and hear what other people have to say about like this movie, like certain movies and stuff like this.
Yeah.
So I went back and it was one, or maybe I missed it in the movie, but it was one blogger basically saying that a senator was over this slave reenactment. Center. And had all of these black people being like caught
and that's where I feel like the movie failed, because if you had explored any of the backstory about what this center is, who's running it, who's all in on it, you didn't explore none of the storyline with the white corporal dude who didn't want to. Yeah, he obviously didn't really want to do this for real. Mm-hmm. You didn't show any of the little light skinned girl that showed up. You didn't show none of her story. Yes. Like everything that would have made it scary and in fact, real by making it scary, they didn't do any of that. Yeah. And all you had was that one weird Antebellum kid on an elevator, which any regular white black person would have gotten the fuck off the elevator. Yes. I'm not hearing that stupid shit.
I'm sorry. If I see a little white girl
dress, anywhere,
and she looking at me and she just comes out the blue, she's not with her parents and nothing like that,
I'm gone.
I'm out of there.
I'm gonna chin check that hoe.
I'm gone.
And I'm out of here. Sorry to this girl.
Antebellum shit it's so possible.
Could have
if you
been
really
so
think about
fucking good.
It's very possible.
And we live in the South. We see the preservation of plantations. We see the effort to keep, this culture of Southern heritage. Yeah. It might be black a bit, but that's our Southern heritage.
Two black schools.
So it's not far-fetched. We are Southern in our culture. We are Southern in our demeanor. I'm very proud to be Southern. Yeah. So I love it deeply, but that same pride and preservation we have about black culture, white people have that. So it's like, but to roll back their time and preservation is at the cost of black experience, and that's what I just can't get past. So when I saw the Antebellum movie, I was like really excited because I don't like scary movies, but I love history. Yeah. And I thought this would be a really good opportunity to scare the fuck out of people right now amongst this political climate, because this is what they mean by make America great. Yeah. This is the America that was great to them.
When they, the whole make America great again situation, and I saw this somewhere, when you look back on history, when was America great?
When the fuck was America great?
For black people. When? We can't pinpoint a time when that
niggas was making any come up.
We can't.
'Twas not.
All this shit is like laughable to me because for one, the two people that we have running.
Talk about it.
What's going on? And I may sound like a radical here, but I think we should strip all this shit, start it over. Yeah. That goes for the Constitution, all these slave reenactment centers, all these plantation reenactment centers.
Rewrite this shit.
Man, burn all this shit, get rid of all this shit, and revise everything that we have going on for how this country is today and what we want. And
you need to tell the whole truth. Yeah. You know what I mean? These slave reenactments, these Civil War camps, they don't tell the whole truth.
They don't.
You know what I mean? We're showing cute little slave. Excuse me, Hennessey. Cute little slave quarters and all this bullshit. Wasn't like that.
I think slavery was so much
more barbaric
than
and
what
atrocious.
Is portrayed.
Man,
yes. I really.
It's absolute, and I studied.
They were
shout out to Tennessee State University. They were barbaric about this shit.
Yes.
Like, don't let them just tell you, oh, you got a whipping with some lashes if you stole. No, bro, you ain't stealing is bare minimum. Niggas was just trying to survive. Slavery was atrocious. You know what I mean? And the white slave mistress that they're portraying, that's oftentimes the most evil person on a plantation.
The white woman.
That white woman is the worst motherfucker.
Because she's upset that her husband
is out here fucking these hoes, man. And all she can do is
raping these slaves.
Raping slaves, man. And all she can do is further oppress them and exercise all of her authority over them. And that's where you get Karens.
That's where you get Karens.
That's Karens where you get Karens. It's my white womanhood is so precious of this slave mistress. It is. It totally is.
Bro. You are.
It totally
Karens.
is. You want to speak to the manager. You want to get an overseer. That's what the fuck you mean. Like, you're not slick, you know. And I think that that's what is becoming so apparent in our political climate that is undeniable, and it's such a call to vote. But I think people really need to be educated on what it is that you're voting for and understanding what state you live in and what's really gonna happen. Because if all the niggas move to Utah and swing that bitch, we can maybe do something. But like,
you gotta deal with Moors over there too.
You man, that shit's weird. The Mormons over there do some thing. There's me and Courtney finna watch the Real Housewives of Utah. We finna watch that shit. The Salt Lake bitches, they finna be extra, extra. Oh my god.
They're different.
Look, the Mormons, they getting with the shit.
Completely different.
They are getting with the shit, but they really believe that they have like this direct line to the Savior. In fact, and that their plural lifestyle and all these things are super ordained. But I think it's so important, and we can kind of wrap up, I guess, is that America is a country of outcasts. You know, all these people that came here left their country because they couldn't hack it.
To start some new shit.
To go be reckless elsewhere and to exercise all their weird shit and their new religions and their sacrificial practices. Y'all came here to do that creep shit. And now that niggas no longer want to be your guinea pigs and your servants,
made some rules and was like, all right, we're going to
do it. You want to politically assassinate niggas, and they're not having that either. So, you know, this is definitely a call to vote. This is definitely a call to vote at the local fucking level.
Yes.
Let's start there, because your mayor matters more than your fucking president, if depending on your city a lot of times. So, things to keep in mind. Corey, you got anything you want to say?
No, I just pretty much hit it right on.
This shit was wild. We went all over the place.
Yeah, we did.
But
I didn't think we was gonna hit that many. We were gonna stay on nigga that much.
That nigga went wild. We have to edit nigga down some.
Hey, I mean, that's true.
But that's real shit right there.
Get out here, vote. Please exercise your right. If you're not registered, then it may be too late now, right?
Yeah, it's too late to register.
It's too late to register to vote, but
early voting is happening
until the 29th.
Yes.
At least.
You got all next week as well.
So get out here, vote, exercise your right.
We're counting on you.
Yeah, we have to do.
We are counting on you.
What's going on?
About the Cheeto.
Yes, we have to. And I hate when he do this.
Bruh, Brianna said that shit on Twitter with the little emoji hands. All he ever do is this.
No, he ever do this.
I'm sick of all his shit. It's just, it's hard out here to be black in America, bruh. It is fucking hard.
This and this.
Look,
this and this.
Very.
It's weird.
Everything is very. Yeah. And it's very soon. It's gonna be very good, and we're all gonna be very healthy. Yeah. Okay, you're very lying to everybody.
I think you got Asperger's.
No, my man's is sick. Both of these niggas is old and sick. It's bad. It's bad across the board. Yeah. I think we have considered it's bad across the board. Drink more Hennessey Privilege. Don't drink regular Hennessy. Yes. Follow Cord across all the platforms. We are in the lounge. This has been Couch and Cocktails. This motherfucker smacked. Yeah, definitely finna make another one of these. This was a perfect way to launch that shit out. I really do appreciate you for coming through. We'll get all the flame emojis and all the little edit sound shits later. But we out.